Trust is the foundation of every love story, and it reveals itself in the smallest details that often go unnoticed. When two people come together, there is an unspoken agreement to show their true selves, even if that feels risky. Love cannot thrive without trust because it requires us to open doors that we usually keep locked from the world. In every meaningful relationship, vulnerability is paired with courage as hearts are exposed to both joy and the potential of being hurt. Trust makes this leap into love possible, turning uncertainty into a shared journey. When people recall their favorite love stories, whether from books, movies, or their own lives, they rarely focus only on grand romantic gestures. Instead, they often speak of the quiet moments where trust was present, like when someone kept a promise or offered support during hardship. These small acts accumulate over time, building a foundation of safety and reliability. Each moment whispers to the other person, "You can count on me." And it's this assurance that gives love the strength to grow. The beauty of trust lies in its simplicity and consistency. Courage is central to this trust because it takes bravery to allow someone else to see who we truly are. Many people wear masks in the outside world, hiding their fears, flaws, and insecurities. But love stories teach us that trust demands removing those masks and standing authentically in front of another person. This exposure can be frightening, yet it is also where intimacy blooms, because authenticity builds stronger bonds than perfection ever could. Trust is a declaration that love is not about appearances, but about truth. When trust becomes the heart of a relationship, it gives both people the freedom to feel safe enough to dream together. Love stories demonstrate how couples build futures, not just on passion, but on the quiet knowledge that they can lean on each other. This shared belief creates a foundation that withstands difficulties, whether they come in the form of external pressures or personal struggles. Trust provides stability when emotions fluctuate, allowing love to endure even through storms. Without it, even the most passionate relationships crumble under uncertainty. Every strong love story is filled with moments of testing, times when trust could have been broken, but instead was strengthened. These challenges become turning points where vulnerability meets resilience. A partner's decision to be faithful, honest, or supportive during hardship deepens the roots of trust. It's not that mistakes never occur, rather, trust allows space for imperfection while holding on to the bigger picture of commitment. This truth reminds us that love thrives not in flawless behavior, but in the willingness to consistently return to each other. Love stories also reveal that trust is not built in isolation, it's reciprocal. When one person takes the first step of vulnerability, the other responds with openness, creating a cycle of trust. Each shared truth, each kept promise, builds layers upon which the relationship rests. Over time, this mutual investment creates an unshakable bond where both people feel seen, valued, and safe. Trust becomes the invisible architecture supporting every word, action, and emotion between them. Without this balance, relationships often falter under one-sided weight. Another profound lesson from love stories is that trust requires patience. It does not form instantly, but is nurtured through time and consistency. The process of building trust is like weaving a fabric, where each thread represents honesty, empathy, and reliability. Over days, months, and years, this fabric becomes strong enough to carry the weight of shared experiences. Love stories remind us that lasting trust is never rushed, but is cultivated slowly with care and intention. This patient growth makes the bond nearly unbreakable. Ultimately, trust gives love its deepest meaning because it transforms uncertainty into connection. Without trust, love would be fragile, unable to withstand the complexities of real life. With trust, love becomes a sanctuary where people can show their truest selves without fear. Love stories continue to inspire us because they show that trust is not an abstract idea, but a lived experience woven into every word and gesture. They remind us that trust is both a gift and a choice, one that makes every love story worth telling. Love stories often show us that trust is not only about believing in someone else, but also about believing in ourselves. When two people come together, each carries past experiences, wounds, and fears that shape how they connect. Trust requires letting go of doubts that whisper we are unworthy of love or that others will inevitably leave. In sharing love, we learn to silence those voices and embrace the courage to accept love fully. This process is both healing and transformative as it builds inner strength. One of the most powerful lessons love stories teach us is that trust grows slowly through the consistency of small actions. A kind word, a fulfilled promise, or simply being present when needed all contribute to a sense of reliability. These gestures may seem ordinary, yet they create a foundation stronger than any grand declaration. Over time, these small acts tell us more about a person's character than their words ever could. Trust is built in the everyday, not just in extraordinary moments. Love stories reveal that trust is deeply connected to vulnerability because opening up to someone always carries risk. To trust another person means to hand them the fragile parts of your heart, uncertain if they will hold it gently. This risk is what makes love feel so meaningful and alive because it is rooted in bravery. Without vulnerability, relationships remain surface level, never touching the depth of true connection. Trust transforms vulnerability into strength, turning uncertainty into intimacy. The stories we cherish often highlight moments when trust was tested, because those are the times when relationships either grow or fracture. In those moments of conflict or disappointment, the choice to stay honest and supportive can deepen love. Forgiveness, too, plays a central role in keeping trust alive after mistakes are made. What matters most is the willingness to return, rebuild, and recommit after difficulty. Trust is not about perfection, but about resilience and renewal. Love stories also remind us that trust is reciprocal and requires balance between giving and receiving. When one person risks vulnerability, the other must meet it with openness, not judgment or rejection. This cycle strengthens bonds because both individuals feel safe to be authentic. Each act of trust opens the door for deeper honesty, creating a rhythm of mutual care. Relationships flourish when both hearts are willing to step into that space together. Patience is another lesson that love stories emphasize when it comes to building trust. It cannot be demanded or rushed, but must be earned over time through sincerity and consistency. Each shared experience, whether joyful or difficult, weaves a stronger bond into the relationship. The patience to let trust unfold naturally shows respect for the process of love. Those who honor this pace often discover a bond that feels unshakable and enduring. In every love story, trust creates the safety that allows people to dream, grow, and face life's storms together. When someone knows they can rely on their partner's words and actions, they feel secure enough to be their true selves. This sense of safety is the heart of intimacy, where love becomes more than an emotion. It becomes a home. Trust is the invisible promise that keeps two people united, even when life challenges them. It is what transforms fleeting passion into lasting love. Love stories often show us that trust is not something that happens instantly, but something that develops in layers over time. In the beginning, there is often uncertainty, a hesitation to fully open up because of past wounds or fears of rejection. Yet, as people begin to share their truths, reveal their struggles, and show their flaws, something magical happens. Connection deepens. Trust grows when we allow others to see not just our strengths, but also our vulnerabilities. This willingness to be seen fully creates a foundation for intimacy. Many love stories teach that trust is tested not in moments of ease, but in times of challenge and difficulty. When partners face hardships together, whether it be loss, disappointment, or conflict, they are given the opportunity to prove their loyalty. How a person shows up in these moments matters more than what they say in moments of calm. Actions like standing by someone's side in pain or choosing patience during arguments demonstrate reliability. True trust is earned when love holds steady through storms, Trust also thrives on honesty, and love stories remind us of its irreplaceable value. Even when honesty feels uncomfortable or risky, it is the glue that keeps relationships authentic. Small lies or withheld truths can chip away at trust, leaving cracks that grow over time. Conversely, honesty allows people to lean into the security that what they see is real. When truth is present, love becomes a place of refuge rather than fear. Another lesson found in love stories is that trust requires presence, not just promises. Words may offer reassurance, but it is consistent actions that sustain belief, showing up when needed, keeping commitments, and demonstrating care in daily life make the deepest impact. These gestures confirm that love is not only spoken but lived. Trust flourishes in the quiet, steady proof of dedication. Love stories also highlight that trust must be mutual to create balance in a relationship. One-sided vulnerability cannot sustain intimacy, as both people need to risk opening their hearts. When each person chooses to lean into the relationship, it becomes a cycle of giving and receiving trust. This reciprocity allows both individuals to feel safe and valued. Relationships where trust is equally shared stand stronger against life's uncertainties. Forgiveness emerges as a recurring theme in stories of trust, because no relationship is free from mistakes. To love someone is to accept their imperfections, just as we hope ours will be accepted. Forgiveness is not forgetting or excusing, but choosing to rebuild faith after it is shaken. It is a conscious act of choosing love over pride, healing over resentment. In this way, forgiveness strengthens trust rather than weakening it. Finally, love stories remind us that trust is an ongoing choice rather than a single achievement. It must be nurtured continually through kindness, patience, and openness. Each day offers new opportunities to affirm reliability and care. Trust, like love, is alive. It grows when it is tended and diminishes when it is neglected. When people consciously choose to protect and nourish it, trust becomes the heartbeat of enduring love. In every love story, trust is not only about believing in the other person, but also about creating a shared space where both can feel safe. This space is built when each partner consistently shows care, attentiveness, and understanding. It is in the little gestures, like listening without judgment or supporting unspoken needs, that trust grows stronger. These actions communicate silently that one's heart can rest without fear of betrayal. When love becomes a sanctuary, trust becomes its natural outcome. Consistency plays a vital role in weaving trust into the fabric of relationships, and love stories demonstrate this truth beautifully. A partner who shows up not just during celebrations, but also during struggles reflects true devotion. The steady presence in moments of weakness, illness, or despair tells a story louder than words. Trust deepens when love is not conditional on circumstances, but rooted in constancy. Such love proves itself reliable over time, making promises feel alive. Love stories also illustrate that trust often requires patience, because hearts cannot be rushed into complete openness. Every individual carries experiences that shape their ability to trust, and sometimes these experiences come with scars. Giving space for healing and allowing vulnerability to unfold at its own pace honors the humanity of each partner. This patience reassures that love is not demanding but understanding. As trust grows slowly, it becomes more enduring and unshakable. Shared experiences are another powerful thread in love stories that strengthen trust. When partners create memories together, from small daily rituals to profound life events, they lay the foundation of belonging. These moments are reminders that they are not alone in their journey, and that connection is real and dependable. Trust finds a home in the rhythm of togetherness, where experiences anchor love in something tangible. The more memories built, the deeper the trust becomes. One of the most striking lessons love stories teach is that trust thrives in transparency. Relationships falter when there are secrets, unspoken fears, or hidden intentions. On the other hand, when partners openly communicate their needs boundaries and feelings, trust has the chance to flourish. Transparency may feel risky, but it removes doubt and uncertainty. It reassures both hearts that nothing important is concealed and that honesty protects the bond they share. Love stories often reveal that trust does not mean perfection, but resilience. Mistakes will happen, words will sometimes hurt, and expectations may not always be met. What keeps trust alive is the willingness to repair rather than abandon. Choosing to work through disagreements, to listen with empathy, and to rebuild after conflict shows that love is stronger than flaws. Trust becomes a reflection of resilience, proving that a relationship can endure trials. Ultimately, trust in love stories is a reflection of faith, not blind faith, but one built over time with intentional actions. It is the belief that the other person will honor the relationship even when no one is watching. It is the quiet confidence that love is not just fleeting but committed. Each choice to be truthful, loyal, and present is a building block of this faith. Love stories remind us that such trust is not easily given but deeply cherished once it is earned. In many love stories, forgiveness emerges as the bridge that allows trust to be restored after it has been shaken. No relationship is free from hurt, and even the strongest bonds face moments of misunderstanding or disappointment. When love is rooted in compassion, forgiveness becomes possible, offering partners the chance to heal together. It is not about ignoring pain, but about choosing growth over resentment. Forgiveness breathes life back into trust, reminding both hearts that love is worth fighting for. Forgiveness in Love's Our Stories also teaches us that trust can be rebuilt when humility is present. Admitting mistakes, taking responsibility, and offering genuine apologies are acts of courage. They show that love values honesty over pride and connection over ego. When partners allow themselves to be humbled, they create space for reconciliation. Trust grows stronger after such moments because it is grounded in truth rather than avoidance. Love stories often reveal that forgiveness requires vulnerability because opening one's heart again after being hurt is a risk. To forgive means choosing connection despite fear, allowing love to soften the walls that pain tries to build. This act demonstrates faith in the goodness of the other person and the resilience of the bond shared. Vulnerability becomes the soil where new trust can grow. Without it, relationships remain closed off, unable to heal. The process of forgiveness in love stories also highlights patience, for rebuilding trust does not happen overnight. Healing takes time, and both partners must honor the gradual process of reestablishing safety. Small, consistent actions become proof that love is still alive and reliable. Each step toward reconciliation strengthens confidence in the relationship. Patience ensures that forgiveness becomes more than words, it becomes a lived commitment. Forgiveness also teaches us that trust is not simply restored by forgetting, but by learning. In many love stories, couples who forgive each other grow wiser about their boundaries and needs. They recognize the importance of protecting love by addressing what led to the hurt. Trust is rebuilt when mistakes are not repeated but transformed into lessons. This wisdom deepens the connection, making it stronger than before. In love stories, forgiveness often mirrors grace, the ability to give more than what is deserved. Choosing to forgive means extending kindness even when pain makes it difficult. It shows that love is not transactional but rooted in generosity of spirit. Such grace builds trust by showing that love is steadfast. Even when tested, it reassures both partners that their bond is bigger than their flaws. Ultimately, love stories teach us that forgiveness and trust are intertwined, each dependent on the other. Without forgiveness, trust cannot recover, and without trust, forgiveness loses its purpose. Together, they form a cycle of healing that allows relationships to endure storms. This cycle reveals that love is not about perfection, but about persistence. When forgiveness restores trust, it proves that love has the strength to begin again. In love stories, we often see that trust is not built solely on words, but on consistent actions that prove reliability. Promises may carry meaning, but it is daily choices that give those promises strength. When partners show up for one another repeatedly, they create a rhythm of dependability. This rhythm becomes the heartbeat of trust, steady and unshaken. It is through these actions that love turns from fleeting emotion into lasting commitment. Trust in love stories also reveals itself in the willingness to be transparent with one another. Sharing thoughts, fears, and dreams requires honesty, even when it feels uncomfortable. When partners allow themselves to be seen in their entirety, they demonstrate respect for the relationship. Openness eliminates the shadows where doubt and suspicion might grow. In the light of such honesty, trust finds fertile ground to deepen and expand. The characters in love stories often show us that trust grows stronger when both people honor their commitments. Whether in small promises like being on time or larger vows such as loyalty and faithfulness, consistency matters. Each fulfilled commitment reassures the other person that their love is secure. Trust thrives when actions and intentions align without contradiction. This consistency allows vulnerability to feel safe rather than risky. Trust also blossoms in love stories when both partners demonstrate empathy. To listen without judgment and to understand without rushing to fix creates emotional security. When someone feels truly heard, they know their heart is safe in the other's hands. Empathy proves that love is not just about attraction, but about mutual care. Such care builds an invisible shield of trust that protects the relationship through hardships. Another way trust is built in love stories is through resilience during challenges. When couples weather storms together, they prove their dedication is not conditional. Hardship becomes the test that shows whether promises hold true. Each difficulty faced and overcome strengthens the foundation of faith between them. Trust grows deeper when love shows it can withstand adversity without collapsing. Trust in love stories is also nurtured through forgiveness, where mistakes are acknowledged but not allowed to destroy the bond. When a partner admits wrongdoing and strives to change, it proves accountability. This act shows that love values truth more than perfection. Forgiveness allows trust to be rebuilt through humility and effort. Each repaired crack in the bond becomes evidence of its enduring strength. Finally, love stories remind us that trust is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing practice. It must be watered daily with respect, presence, and commitment. Just as a garden needs attention to flourish, so does trust require care. It is fragile enough to break, yet resilient enough to grow back stronger when nurtured. Love becomes unshakable when both partners treat trust as their most precious treasure. Love stories reveal that trust and love are inseparable, forming the foundation that allows relationships to thrive. Without trust, love becomes fragile and uncertain, easily shaken by doubt or fear. But when trust is present, love feels safe and steady, like an anchor holding two people through life's storms. This connection transforms love from a fleeting emotion into a shared journey of growth. Trust gives love the strength to endure and deepen with time. In many stories, trust is shown through vulnerability, where characters risk opening their hearts fully. They demonstrate that love cannot flourish behind walls of fear or secrecy. Vulnerability is a leap of faith, trusting that the other person will honor what is shared. It is in this openness that intimacy grows and love becomes real. The willingness to be known is both the test and the proof of trust. Another powerful lesson is that trust is built in the ordinary, everyday choices that couples make. It's not only grand gestures that matter, but small acts of kindness, honesty, and reliability. A partner who listens attentively or keeps their word strengthens the bond with quiet consistency. Love thrives not in perfection, but in the steady rhythm of dependability. Each choice to show up faithfully becomes a building block of trust. Stories also teach us that trust allows love to expand beyond fear of betrayal. When people truly trust one another, they no longer hold back out of self-protection. They give more of themselves freely, knowing they are safe in the bond. This freedom makes love richer and fuller, unburdened by suspicion or hesitation. Trust creates a space where love is not just sustained, but amplified. In times of hardship, love stories remind us that trust keeps relationships resilient. Challenges such as distance, loss, or misunderstanding put bonds to the test. Couples who rely on trust emerge stronger, proving their connection can endure adversity. Trust acts as the glue that holds love together when everything else feels uncertain. It is in these moments that the true depth of love and trust is revealed. Forgiveness is another way trust and love prove their connection in stories. Mistakes may cause pain, but the decision to forgive shows that love values the bond over perfection. Trust is restored when both partners are willing to heal together rather than walk away. This renewal deepens the relationship, making it stronger than before. Love and trust, tested by imperfection, become unbreakable when rebuilt with compassion. Ultimately, love stories show us that trust transforms love into something lasting and sacred. It gives love the courage to grow, the patience to endure, and the depth to heal. Without trust, love remains shallow and temporary, but with it, love becomes a lifelong journey. Trust ensures that love is not just felt, but lived fully in action and presence. The intertwining of love and trust is what makes relationships both beautiful and enduring